Welcome to 5-Minute Monster Views. I am your host, Monster D, and today, do I have some skills to share with you? I have with me the leader, the very president of Delaware Shoutout, a true champion at helping those trying to gain a grasp on this thing we call social media a little bit tighter. A mistress, a maestro, a master of social media. I present to you the one, the only, Brooke Miles. Hello, Brooke.
Hi, thank you. That is the nicest introduction I ever got in my life. Thank
Wow.
you.
Well, we probably will not have to do another take, but if I do, it could be even better. But we'll think about that later. Right
Okay.
now, I have a question for you. Are you in the mood for a monster?
Sure, absolutely.
Well, excellent. You are in the right place. For I am going to extract a one-of-a-kind monster from your very own mind using this, my magic monster maker. All I need to do is give this monster maker a nice hearty shake, and it will begin extracting the monster out for you. But first, all I need for you to do is to give me a number between 1 and 8.
8.
8. Excellent. All right, now I shall begin the shake. And I shall extract your number. Ooh, is that your number on that egg?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. So now I am going to open this and I will unfurl a hidden message. And can you tell me what, if it stays unfurled, that
The
message says?
nastiest food.
Excellent. So as
Uh,
I refurl this message, can you tell
Refill.
me what, in your opinion, the nastiest food in the entire world is?
Um, there are two that are tied for me, and one of them is black licorice because I can't stand the anise taste, and then
Uh-oh.
also root beer. Like if someone drinks root beer, I don't want to be anywhere near their breath. So,
Ooh.
for me, it's that. I'm vegan, by the way, so I'm limited in terms of what I make. I like when I did eat meat, I really liked it a lot, and when I had eggs and all that, like I liked all of it. So, but in terms of things that are just repulsive to me, root beer and black licorice.
Those two just drive at the mind. I get that.
They do, they
So
do.
you are going to get your very own, perhaps licorice, perhaps root beer, perhaps a bit of both, monster coming your way now in 5 minutes or less. So let me start my time-telling device now,
Okay.
and we shall begin. So first of all, as I begin, Brooke, I want to say congratulations because you are a recent winner of 2 awards through the DSBC.
Yes.
One for the best home-based business and one for best women-owned business. So I have to ask. So I notice you have your awards displayed sort of right by your family rules. Do you think any of these rules might have played a part in helping you gain this stature in these awards? And if so, how?
Gotcha. And for those viewers who have not been in my living room, basically, which is everyone, a lot of families have, and it has like, hug often and laugh together and all that, the whole list of things. I try to use kind words a lot. I'm actually not much of a hugger, to the dismay of my family, but
Yeah.
so I can't use that one. But and then also there's one on there about like laughing at yourself, and I consider myself to be a very flawed human being, but I can either like cry about it or laugh about it. So I try when I can to laugh about it and use it in my humor. So because that's a little bit more constructive way to do it. And I think that's really helped. I think that's really helped a lot because one thing I learned is that if you just try to be perfect, well, first of all, you can't be perfect. No one's perfect. But if you try to be perfect, you end up just being very plastic, and you can't. Plastic doesn't really. It's hard to build a relationship or get people to trust you when you're plastic. So I just try to be as transparent and authentic as I can be. You know. And that's really helped a lot.
Yes, it only helps to be plastic if you're
A credit
Perhaps
card?
Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me what your last horrible experience with something licorice related was?
I don't have, but I don't know. Like maybe I accidentally ate a licorice flavored jelly bean, but that was so long ago because jelly beans have gelatin. So that would have been like 8 years ago. I don't know. Like smell. I don't even like the smell of it. So I don't have any. I never had any licorice nightmares. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Uh,
Okay.
but it's all been, you know, no licorice monsters have been chasing me down, dark alleys or I've been very thankful for that because it could have my life could have turned out that way, but it didn't.
Well, we shall see how that may or may not change after today.
Oh gosh, I'm scared.
Yeah. And by the way, I appreciate what you were just talking about not crying about your imperfections and really sort of putting them forth in a humorous light. And with that, I really appreciate your quick and creative and very snarky humor that you bring to your YouTube videos when
Yeah.
when you're talking about information on Facebook or LinkedIn. I feel like information like that can be sometimes very hard to regurgitate to the populace and make it really stick. It can be for me, but I think the way you deliver it with that level of humor, it really helps. In fact, I was um, just in researching for this, I just out of habit started writing down notes for myself. That was how great your points were. I was like, no,
Oh,
this is research, but it actually was helping me.
thank
Uh,
you.
so with all of your sort of quick edits and creative sort of cutaways, zooms and that kind of thing, how much of that is planned out, in advance, and how much of that stuff do you sort of come up with on the fly, either as you're setting up the camera or as you are editing?
Okay. So yeah, in terms of like editing, in terms of like, what it's going to look like with the camera, all of that is on the fly with editing. I maybe at some point I'll be such a master videographer, ha ha ha, that I'll think of some of these things in advance, but really, it just, I kind of look at the footage and I say, this is what usually happens, and this just happened with the video that came out today. Which is like I look at it and I say, this is really horrible. What can I do to make it better? It's the last video that I mean, it literally just came out today, and it turned out I think really really well. But I mean, like even my son when he looked at the raw footage and everything, and even my rough cut, he's like, Mom, this really needs a lot of work.
Hmm.
This like he said it more than once. He's like, let me just stop and tell you that this is not good. The editing really helps. Believe it or not, even when I don't plan for a joke or a funny scene, the editing can really help with the humor, whether it's with music or and my son actually helps me find music because he's more musically inclined than I am.
Hmm.
Um, or the editing can sometimes create a tension that I wasn't able to convey just in talking with the camera. So I have a lot of fun with the editing, and it really helps enhance things immensely. And in terms of the funny scenes, the actual concept I tend to think of in advance. Like for example, there was a recent video where I do a quote unquote sexy cupcake scene that turns out like this. It basically, I try to be sexy, turns out to be completely awkward, and like it's supposed to be. So obviously you don't. I didn't bake vegan cupcakes on the fly and then create this whole thing with a fan like just spur of the moment. That was planned, but the editing of it is what enhances it because if you just do a regular shot, it doesn't work. But I'm learning. I'm still learning. I mean, I'm still learning how to edit. I'm sure by next year I'll look at this year's stuff and cringe. So, I'm doing a whole lot better than I was the year before. So that's all good.
Well, I appreciate that, and it's funny. Something like the cupcake scene, um, that
Did
was
you see
planned.
it? Do you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about?
I know exactly what you're talking about. To the point that I appreciate that in your recent video, you've already made a callback to it, whether intentional or
Yeah.
not, just by randomly inserting some video of cupcake, and you pointed to, you know, this isn't a video about cupcakes, but you had that there.
Yes.
That alone would have been whatever, but because I had already seen that prior video, that actually got a laugh out of me. So so you're
Oh,
already creating callbacks to your own videos, and
well,
that's
actually, what?
fun.
Yeah, actually, that callback was unintentional because I did the whole cup like when I mentioned cupcakes in this most recent video. I'm like, wow, I must be obsessed with cupcakes because now there are two videos where I talk about cupcakes. So it wasn't, and I was like, and I was wondering if anyone would notice, but I'm glad you did. So, because I didn't mean it that way. It just turns out I'm obsessed with cupcakes and I need to make more cupcakes.
Hey,
So that's all it was.
everyone has an obsession, and I can't go
Yeah.
wrong with cupcakes there.
No, and they're never licorice flavored, so that's always good.
Not that I've seen. I'll have to think
No.
about that. I can think of a few places that may have. Although that makes me think. Ooh, that brings me to an interesting question. So let's just say somebody came in the door right now and sat next to you and had the biggest frosty mug of root beer, and you could tell by his breath he was already on mug two.
Yeah.
What kind of facial expressions do you think you would make with that presence in the room there?
Okay. So, well, first of all, if it's a guy and he's sitting that close to me, I tell him to go away because I'm married. So, I mean, let's talk about the bigger issue here going on. Okay.
I thought about saying your
Um,
husband, and I held back for some reason.
you said a man. You're very specific about that.
That's true.
So, well, this is a case. Well, okay, if it's a family member, I'll just be like, hope you don't, like I might say something. If it's a family member, I will tell you this might be one of the few instances where plastic. I might pull out the plastic card because I wouldn't want. I think it'd be super rude for me to distance myself from someone if they have what I consider bad breath. So I wouldn't. Sorry, I wouldn't do much. Are you looking for a facial expression so you put that in whatever you're drawing?
No, no,
Like a like a like
actually,
a
I'm
ah,
very
or I
close
don't
to
know.
done here, but
Okay.
no, it just makes me think. I can picture that whole. If someone else had something under their breath that was unpleasant to me, not root beer, because I'm a lover of that, but something else, I can get that whole like, yeah, like you're kind of trying to only breathe in
Oh
while talking
gosh.
to them, or only breathe through your mouth for a period of time there, and just sort of imagining your escape in a little while.
Yes. Yes.
But speaking of things that are, I guess, root beery and bubbly, here is your monster.
Oh my. That's pretty scary. That is quite scary. You're right about the root beer monster.
I mean, nothing
With
makes root beer
is
more
that a
special than
licorice
giving it
stick?
a nice licorice stick to stir it with, right? That's the
Yes,
ultimate combo there.
that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I'm gonna put that right next to my house rules in my living room.
And know this.
Yeah.
The ultimate rule, none of this.
That's so funny. Well, that is fantastic. You're really talented with that.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that coming from someone who is so talented. Um, and more to your talents. So I know you reside in Newark, Delaware,
Uh-huh.
which happens to be the home of George Thorogood. So tell me, out of the many sort of success stories that you have had with clients helping with their social media, what was one of the most recent ones that was really a bad to the bone moment for you?
Well, I'll give you like one specific and then like more of a general thing is what I really go for. So one specific one was there was a client who came to me and we did too good of a job with their social media. They started getting too many calls. Like they had to like cut it back. They're like it's too much. But I will tell you the greatest successes for and that was like just a few months ago. And it was like a retail type of establishment. But for me, the greatest successes are when a client comes to me and they're feeling really unsure about their social media and they don't know how to get started or what they're doing just isn't working and they just feel really stuck and then I get them unstuck and I make the and they're confident and they have a plan. and there's no way to really quantify that with numbers like their confidence increased 150%. Like I can't say that, but all I know is like it's the feeling that they have before they start working with me and then afterwards, and that to me means like the world.
I can speak on the other side of that. Whenever you reach a point when you feel like you sort of know what you're doing, that is a very bad to the bone feeling. So
Yeah.
I appreciate anyone that you've allowed to feel that. And as to the person who had too many calls, that is what I call the best sort of a bad problem to have,
That's an awesome problem.
or a
Awesome
good
bad
problem. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
So we're almost done here, but I have to ask, out of everything going on, what are you most looking forward to coming up in your life?
Um. You know what? My YouTube channel has been really exciting me a lot. Um, and then personally, like next year, it looks like we're gonna go on a trip to Italy, and I might be able to also visit Germany as well because I have some friends in Germany. So I'm really excited about that. That isn't for like another like literally like next fall, but um, I'm like super excited about that because it's been decades since I've been in Europe, and I really look forward to going back there. So yeah.
Excellent, and you'll be able to visit places that will hand you mugs and steins, sure to be not filled with the stuff
No,
you loathe the most.
no, exactly. I'll make a special request. Yes. So.
Excellent. Well, Brooke, I want to thank you so much for being my guest today. I really do appreciate all the work you put into not only your YouTube channels, but with the information you divulge on about Facebook, LinkedIn, and just helping people to be a greater success as well. As someone who is still working on his success level, just seeing you help anyone in that capacity, it is near and dear to me. So I thank you for what you've done.
Oh, my pleasure. This has been an awesome interview. Definitely the most creative one I've ever been on. So thank
Well,
you.
well, I appreciate it. And Brooke, I wish for you, as well as everyone else at home, to stay monstrous. Wow.
Gremlins, scary, monster D. I said the gremlins, scary, monster D. I said the gremlins.
Ohne Butter, ohne Milch, vegane, ohne Fleisch.